the Yardbirds can find a place in our little populace of music?
I think they already did. I think our little populace of music owes them a great deal of gratitude.
Right, but with the way that, because right now music is so, nobody knows where it's going. I mean, do you think that they can find a new niche?
It's hard to say. You know, being a trendy sensation usually is a reflection of a rebellious youthful situation with where the youth of a generation specifically identifies with the youth of the trendsetter. You know, so even if the Yardbirds came along and made a very contemporary, needed statement, I don't, you know, it may take more than just the classic lovers of the Yardbirds to buy their records in order for them to actually be, you know, genre trendsetters. I think it would be nice, not just because, you know, they're on my label and it would be a very successful record, but because the music is really great. I was just listening to it before you guys got here, and it's just good. You know, it's like these guys are authentic rock musicians. And you know, it's funny because one of the new movements in music right now is this very stripped down garage type. You know, you got the Strokes and the Hives and these bands. You know, the White Stripes. And I listen. I have all that stuff, and I listen to it all. And although I think some of it's really cool, when you listen to the Yardbirds, there's just an integrity and an authenticity that, you know, that has taken what, 40 years, 50 years, 40 years to cultivate? 40 years to cultivate, you know? And you just can't get that when you're 17, 18 and you're banging away in a garage. Sorry.
Is there any, this was Dave asking, he just went on to get some personal notes about your first guitar and what was the first song that you heard and why, what made you want to play, that kind of stuff. I don't know if he was gearing it towards the Yardbirds specifically, but more a little backstory on
Well,
guitar players.
the biggest influence, the musician that had the biggest influence on me to become a guitar player was Jimmy Page. When I was younger, I wanted to be a composer because I was fascinated with the little black dots. And the idea of controlling 100 people with your pen and creating these rich tapestries of sound. I mean, I knew that when I was 6, you know, and I don't know why. But I was also very interested in the guitar. It was a beautiful instrument. I was very intimidated by it. It's so cool. And you know, back then, if you played the guitar, either you were cool or you thought you were cool. And I had a tremendous insecurity or problem. You know, I felt inferior most of the time. And when I started to play the guitar and I started seeing results, it gave me a feeling of self-esteem. So I threw myself into it, a little, maybe a little more aggressive than a kid my age should have or would have, you know, because here I was 13, 14, 15 years old and playing the guitar 9 to 15 to 20 hours a day sometimes. So it was my release, you know. I didn't really care what was going on in the world around me at all. Didn't care about a thing. Didn't care what kind of shoes I was wearing or, you know, if something happened in my family or anything. You know, it was really a kind of an obsession. And it kind of like started when I started hearing my sister playing Led Zeppelin in her bedroom. I would just sit by the door and just listen and just think, God, that is so cool. And she had like Led Zeppelin 1, and then when Led Zeppelin 2 came out and the solo for Heartbreaker, that was it. It was just it. I had to play the guitar. And Jimmy Page, the way that his mind works, you know, when it comes to constructing songs and production, is really extraordinary, you know, and it's unmatched. That's why Led Zeppelin, you can listen to something off of their first record today and it still sounds just unbelievable. But, you know, that was, Page, a lot of his roots came from dealing with a lot of musicians and then, you know, like with the Yardbirds. You know, so I remember when that BBC piece came out on the Yardbirds, I heard that before I heard Led Zeppelin. You know, and I immediately was, who was that? What was that? you know. And there was a lot of musicians, obviously Hendrix and, you know, I love Brian May and, you know, all those great players from the 70s era. But there was always still a very soft spot in my heart for composition. And I've always, I educated myself very young on orchestral composition and took some very intense theory classes in, like, you know, 8th, 9th grade, you know, where I was expected to write a piece of music every day. And not like, you know, chord changes. I mean, I had to come in with a piece of music that the teacher can read and play on a piano, and then at times orchestrated for small ensembles, you know. That's 13 years old I was, and so it was a great practice for me. Through the years, I've always, you know, I've kept my orchestrational skills going. It's just that it's prohibitively expensive to hire orchestras, you know, and I don't want to be banished to, like, you know, film music, you know. And plus, I'm very addicted to playing the guitar.
Great, you play it well. Cool, I think.
Thanks.
I think we got it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Feel good like you.